Welcome to Beyond the Coverage. I'm Chris Horner. This is the Men's World Championships Preview 2021. Now, I'm going to give you guys my three biggest teams here at the World Championships. So Wout van Aert has a lot of guys to keep track of if he wants to be able to win the 2021 Men's World Championships. Now, top of the list has to be Belgium. They're a fantastic squad with Wout van Aert, my absolute favorite five-star rider at this year's World Championships. Got 6 riders as 5 stars. Wout leads the list. Behind Wout, I have Peter Sagan as this next of the 5-star favorites listed. But when we talk about the Belgium team, you got to understand they have Remco Evenepoel on the team, and that is so much power that I got to have them as my #1 team to look out for at this year's World Championships. Now, the second team to look out for is the Slovenians, and they have 2 of my 5-star favorites. So how can I not have them second? They got a host of talent on that team backing up Tadej Pragachar and Primož Roglic as 5-star favorites at this World Championships. Now, Tadej Pogacar hasn't been time trialing spectacularly well, but we saw he was in the front group at the European Road Championships just a couple weeks back. Primož Roglic, wild card, 5-star favorite because there hasn't been much racing since he dominated the Tour of Spain, bookending time trial wins and winning road race stages throughout the Vuelta. Now, 4 stage wins during the Vuelta has to put him high up on the list. I'm ranking him as 3rd as my 5-star favorites for this World Championships. But remember, they have massive talent with Tadej Pogacar backing him up or a 5-star favorite himself. I'm actually putting Tadej Pogacar as 6th as my 5-star favorite list. Now, the other guys backing up, you're talking Jan Tratnik and Matej Mahorch. Both these 2 riders are 3-4-star favorites anyways, but they're super domestiques, they're fabulous riders. So if something was to happen early in the race with Primož Roglic or Tadej Pogacar, Matej Mahorch could win, and of course, Jan Tratnik is a fabulous rider, strong, very powerful rider for a course like we see at this year's 2021 Worlds. Now they have one other rider, Jan Polach, who was racing good at the Tour of Spain too. So that's 5 guys. They have to be the #2 ranked team at this year's World Championships. Now let's get into the 3rd best team on the Chris Horner list. And now you guys are going to argue. Some will argue with me left and right until their heads explode, because I know a lot of you guys are picking the Danes as being the 3rd best, strongest team there. I'm picking France. I mean, Alaphilippe is the card that really changes which team is going 3rd strongest, because the Danes are absolutely powerful. I understand they look fabulous on there, but the French team is absolutely fantastic. When you add in Julian Alaphilippe, Benoit Cosnefroy was strong at the European Road Championships, Christophe Laporte just got done winning GP Wallonie, and then Florian Sénéchal, I mean, he just got done getting the win last week too at one of the semi-classics. That is 4 strong guys led by one Julian Alaphilippe, and that overranks the Danes in my book for sure. Now Julian Alaphilippe I see as basically probably 4th of my 5-star favorites, because I don't really know exactly where he's at. He hasn't been winning at the Tour of Britain when he was getting beat by Wout van Aert, but if you're just getting beat by Wout van Aert, that means you got to be really solid, right? But can I put him ahead of Primož Roglic? I don't think so, because Primož Roglic is a man that takes every race serious, and we all know he entertains all of us. I mean, without Primož Roglic in the race, this could be a boring World Championships, but when you throw in Primož Roglic, you know it's going to be exciting. When you throw in Julian Alaphilippe, you know it's going to get lit up at some point in time near the finish of this race, and it's going to be worth tuning in for. My 5th favorite, 5-star favorite, is going to be Mathieu Vanderpool. You guys are, the Netherlands up there, all you guys are just looking at me and going crazy. But we don't know exactly where he is, right? His back was hurt from his crash in the mountain bike Olympics. He came back. He's got a win now since then, just weeks before here at the World Championships. So we know he's on good form. But 268 kilometers with a sore back, that could kind of change things. Now, Team Netherlands have a pretty good, strong team when you're talking Bach Mollema and Dylan van Baarle. Now, we've seen Dylan van Baarle win classics at the beginning of the 2021 season, so we know Dylan van Baarle is talent all the way through. They have 3 strong riders there when you throw in Mathieu Vanderpool, and, of course, Mathieu Vanderpool being ranked 5th on my 5-star list If he's 100%, I would rank him up there second, right behind Wout van Aert. Nobody's ahead of Wout van Aert. That is the clear favorite. But I might put Mathieu van der Poel, of course, ahead of Peter Sagan if we knew where his back was. Instead, I'm moving him all the way down to 5th on the 5-star favorites. Now, 6th, you know, because I already talked about him, Tadej Pragachar. We've seen him riding solid. He was good at the European Championships road race. He was in the front group. But he does seem to be missing a little bit of that shine when we're talking about that Tour de France form, when we're talking about Trino Adriatico form, where he was absolutely spectacular and lit the race up from the beginning all the way to the end. But those 6 guys have to all be listed as 5-star favorites. Now, I want to throw in one other guy, and it's going to be my dark horse that could surprise everybody. You guys sitting back there and I'd be like, Chris, you're crazy on this pick. I just don't understand it. I'm going to list Caleb Ewan because I think he could get dropped early at the World Championships, or I believe he could actually win the World Championships. Now, let me give you some facts to back that up. First off, he's going to come fresh. He crashed on stage 3 of the Tour de France, broke his collarbone, so hasn't been racing much. Since then, he has raced at the Benelux Tour, won a stage at the Benelux Tour, dropped out of Luxembourg after doing 2 days of hard racing, and now has had 10 days to rest from those 2 races and get in a couple solid good days of training, get in a little bit of rest before the World Championship starts, and he only has to be good for 1 more race this whole season. Now, remember, you guys are all saying, man, how can you pick him? When we go all the way back, when we review the tape, when we drop back in time to the beginning of the 2021 season, we're going to talk about Milan San Remo. Now, this is the reason he is my dark horse that may surprise everybody. When you look at Milan San Remo, and we're talking Caleb Ewan lit those climbs up. When he got on the Sorpresa and the Poggio, nobody could drop him, and he might have even been one of the best, if not the best, on those 2 climbs. Now, when you look at the crash at the Tour de France, you look at the recovery days, you look at his win at the Benelux Tour, you look at the few days of racing and now the 10 days of rest. If he can arrive at the World Championships with Milan San Remo form, it's crazy, right? But if he can arrive with Milan San Remo form, he could win the World Championships because he's the only sprinter that can beat Wout van Aert if it goes all the way to the line. And he brings Milan San Remo form. I know there's a lot of buts and ifs and all that stuff, but you gotta pay attention to Caleb Ewan. If you see him riding solid, if you see him climbing with that Milan San Remo form, he's got an absolute legitimate shot of winning the World Championships come this Sunday. Now, those are my picks. Top 3 teams, top 5-star favorites, and of course, the dark horse Caleb Ewan. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and we'll keep it going on Beyond the Covers for tomorrow.